Hello everyone, find me in the lane here. Hope y'all are having a wonderful new year so far. Well, new year equals new speculation season. Yep, 2025 just started and I'm already thinking about Halloween Horror Nights. Today's video is going to be all about speculation for the 2025 season. Cue the intro. So we're not going to waste any more time. Let's just jump straight into the discussion. The only thing we know so far about this year's Horror Nights are actually the dates. We usually don't find out about the dates until later in the season, like around the summertime. But no, right off the bat, they just announced the dates for Hollywood, starting September 4th and ending in November 2nd. But that's literally the only thing we know so far about the 2025 season. In terms of what mazes we can expect to see, I have not a single clue, as announcement season, I presume, isn't until further in the year. But that's where this video comes in handy, and we can actually speculate what mazes might actually come to the event this year. So I have like 8 or 9 theories about this year's event. You know, what mazes we might see, what mazes we might not see, and near the end of the video, I'm actually going to talk about some of the current rumors we have as of now. Ooh. So without further ado, let's jump straight into my first prediction. Usually when I try to like speculate or predict what mazes might come to Horror Nights, I always try to think of the lineups from years past. You know, what big studios have like a good relationship with Universal that they're willing to like work with them again and try to bring like other movies or TV shows to Horror Nights as mazes. And that really got me thinking about this. A Quiet Place was a maze from last year, right? Which was made by Paramount. And I think, what other big horror movies have come out that were made by Paramount? The first thing that came to mind? Smile. The first Smile movie was a pretty decent success, but Smile 2 got even like bigger success, both in the reviews and like, you know, in the box office. And I remember even like ever since the first movie came out, like there were quite a few people that actually wanted to see this at Horror Nights. And you know, there are a lot of like different characters and different environments they can recreate as a haunted attraction. I think it'd be really cool to see. Next prediction I have is Silent Hill 2. I was actually surprised that we didn't get to see anything Silent Hill related in last year's event, you know, because, you know, the game came out in the middle of October last year. So I think it was because, one, they wanted to make sure like the game was like a surefire success, which it was, and two, I think they wanted to wait until the new movie came out, which, by the way, is confirmed to be releasing sometime this year. That way, it would be a more appropriate time right now to promote both the movie and the game. A house that I believe will be returning this year is The Horrors of Blumhouse for chapter 4 or 5 or whatever chapter we're on right now, because there are a lot of Blumhouse movies coming out this year. Some of them are actually highly anticipated with moviegoers. At the top of my head, Wolfman, Megan 2, The Black Phone 2, and I'm sure there's like a couple more coming out this year, and there are still a couple of Blumhouse movies from the past that still have yet to be translated into a haunted attraction. Staying on the subject of returning mazes, another house that I could see coming back this year is Monstros, Chapter 3. The Monstros mazes are always a surefire success in Horror Nights. You know, first it was La Llorona, then it was the first Monstros, and now The Nightmares of Latin America Part 2, and then I think it's safe to say that we're gonna see Part 3. Now, since we're talking about returning mazes, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh right, Universal Monsters, I wonder what the theme of this year is gonna be. Actually, I have a huge gut feeling that we're not gonna see the Universal Monsters this year at Horror Nights. Now, I know they're a beloved film franchise, they're made by Universal themselves, and we had like so many mazes in a row with the Universal Monsters, but here's why I think they're not coming this year. One, the launch of Epic Universe has their own dark universe kind of thing, right? So that most likely, cancels out Orlando doing anything with the Universal Monsters because they already have a whole land dedicated to them. And two, Slash, if you guys don't know, released his music that he's made for Halloween Horror Nights as vinyl records. And I always thought to myself, why now? Wouldn't you want to make another edition with more music that you would make in future mazes? But then I thought to myself, what if there are no more future mazes? What if Slash knew that Eternal Bloodlines was his last hurrah and he was just you know what, I'll just finally release my music as vinyl records. But again, this is all just a theory and I could be way off. Last prediction I want to throw out there. I always mention this IP in every single one of my speculation videos, but I truly think this is the year that this finally comes to Horror Nights. and that's Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice has had a history with Horror Nights before. They made a haunted house in Orlando, and we were set to get a haunted house here in Hollywood. But 2020 got canceled, and then 2021 was 2021. Some things got shifted around, so we never got to see Beetlejuice. But Beetlejuice came out last year. It was somewhat of a big hit, and I think there's no other perfect time to do a Beetlejuice house than now. Orlando could do one based on the second movie, and then we can have one that's based on both 1 and 2. Universal, please, make it happen. And that is it in terms of all of my personal predictions, stuff that I would like to see and stuff that I think would make sense to come to Horror Nights. And now, let's talk about the current rumors. Yes, you heard correctly. It's barely early January as of this recording, and there's already rumors and news about this year's Horror Nights. Now, as you can see here, there's already a speculation map that dropped around the Christmas time. And I'm not gonna go into like full detail about this map. I'm not gonna even gotta bother like dissecting like and deciphering all the clues and stuff, because you know, like the clues are all Christmas themed, so it's probably gonna be like so impossible to figure out. And also like almost half of the lineup is still yet to be known by like the sources or like the insiders. So I'm just gonna talk about like the rumors that we know so far. The first big rumor is that The Last of Us will be making its return to Horror Nights, and this time it'll be based on part 2. Now, this one actually makes a lot of sense, because when they did The Last of Us a couple years back, this was when like the TV show was really popular, and now season 2 of that show is coming out this year, so it would make sense why they would like try to do The Last of Us again this year. Now, the second big rumor that we know of is that Terrifier will finally be making its debut at Halloween Horror Nights this year. Now, from my understanding, the insiders didn't really specify if they were going to do like all 3 movies, or if they're going to do only one of the movies, or maybe do like an original spin. But yeah, as of now, these are the 2 big IPs that are allegedly coming to Horror Nights this year for both Hollywood and Orlando. And whenever we discuss rumors or leaks, I always have to say this as like a little asterisk. Take all of this with a grain of salt. For all we know, neither of these IPs could actually come to the event this year. It could be a totally different lineup altogether that they have planned. We're still very early in the speculation season, and as history has shown, usually when you hear a big name or an IP get thrown in like early speculation season, sometimes it doesn't ever come to fruition because like it was never planned in the lineup to begin with, or maybe it was planned in the lineup but Universal lost the rights to it. Like, there's just so many factors. But for the sake of this discussion, let's just assume that these mazes are actually coming to the event. Like, hypothetically, let's say Last of Us and Terrifier have already been announced, it's been confirmed. Right off the bat, it already sounds like a cool sounding event. Last of Us, I enjoyed the maze a couple years ago, and I'd be really down to see to step into the world of The Last of Us again. And Terrifier, not gonna lie, it took me a while to get into it. It wasn't until the 3rd movie that I considered myself a fan of Art the Clown and Terrifier, so I'd be really excited to see it at Horror Nights. Even ignoring my personal thoughts on both franchises, I think it's a really smart business move on Universal's part. Like, if I was Universal Studios, and I love cash, which we know they do, I would immediately bring Terrifier to the event, along with bringing back a fan favorite like The Last of Us. But yeah, again, those are the 2 big rumors that we know so far, and again, take it with a grain of salt. And that's gonna wrap up today's video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and click the like button. If you want to see more Horror Nights content and more speculation content, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Also, down in the comments, what would you personally like to see at this year's Horror Nights? Are you excited for a potential Last of Us and Terrifier maze? If you stuck around to the very end of the video, thank you so much for watching, and until then, see you all in the fog.